Hey, we're up close and personal today. We're going to talk about something that doesn't get enough attention, the difference between ovulation cramps and period cramps. Now, if you've never tracked your cycle, you might think cramps are cramps, but trust me, they are not the same thing. I've had both for many years, and once I started paying attention to the timing and how they feel, I realized they're two completely different experiences. So let's start with ovulation cramps. Is it just me, or do they hurt worse than actual period cramps? For me, they show up about 2 weeks before my period or after my period, which ends up being the same time frame if you really look at it. The pain is quick and sharp and always on one side of my lower stomach. It switches sides depending on which ovary is working that month. The best way I can describe it is it feels like somebody is pinching or poking me from the inside. It's just, I cannot stand that pain. Sometimes it's just a dull ache. Sometimes it stopped me mid-step. The good thing is they don't last long, maybe a few hours or half a day at the most. Now, period cramps, whole different beast. Mine usually show up on day 2, and that's when my body decides to throw a tantrum. The pain isn't on one side like ovulation cramps. It's front, center, and low in my stomach. And on day 2, I am laid out flat, legs open like a crime scene outline. I kid you not, with a heating pad on my stomach, and yes, between my legs too. It's just something about putting that heating pad right there. It feels like my uterus is trying to push itself out. My body, like rent was due, and it's moving out with no warning. Day 3, it starts to ease up, and by day 4, I can function like a normal human being. But day 2 gets me every time. I have to make sure I take something before I go to bed on day 1 so I don't wake up in the middle of the night in pain. Now, I started using a period tracking app several years ago, and honestly, it is a game changer. It tells me when my periods are coming, when I'm ovulating, and I can log all of my symptoms so I can spot patterns. That's how I realized my ovulation cramps weren't random. They were right on schedule every month. For relief, my go-to is always getting a heating pad. You need a heating pad, meds, and maybe just take a hot bath if needed. I also drink a lot of water. And I'll move around a little bit, slow stretching, maybe a short walk, just to get that blood flowing. And yes, sometimes you just have to give in, curl up, and let your body rest. So for me, the big differences are ovulation cramps, mid-cycle, sharp, one side, short-lived. Period cramps, during your period, low and central, last just a couple of days and end up being okay for me. If you've been wondering which kind you're having, start tracking it. Just get an app, or just use your phone calendar. You'll start to see your patterns. Let me know in the comments if you get both and what your go-to remedies are, because if we can't get rid of them, at least we can get through them together. It's day 2 for me, and I am really trying to be okay. Okay, bye.